स्पष्टीकरण बाद में होंगे, अभी प्रधानमंत्री जी को जाना है।
Thank you, sir. So, we just heard the statement from the Honorable Prime Minister, where one of the factors mentioned in relation to the drought-hit areas was that food grain worth 4,000 crores would be made free to those areas. Now, when the mention was being made about food riots in India, that this is a situation which we envisage, even without this 4,000 crores being made free to the states, 35 kilograms of food grain, rice and wheat made available to a crore families every year at a rate of rupees 2 or rupees 3 per kilogram. If we convert it at the international currency rates, the family's food bill of 35 kilograms of wheat and rice would be anything between $2–2.5. That is the kind of situation that the government of India, on account of the surplus, has been making available to the poorest of poor. Now, this is by any stretch for the Indian state, not a very developed nation, a great achievement. But we have still preferred to visualize a situation where we see horrors of food riots taking place as far as the country is concerned. Now, this is a situation which I mentioned is long over, which is no longer due. You mentioned, how do we generate the educational resource of the country? Well, you were absolutely right. It is the duty of the government, and the government indeed, even by amending the law, has said primary education will be a fundamental right. Through the 90s, we opened out, we unshackled ourselves even in these areas. What is the situation today? There are areas where people who have grown out of your institutions, your human resource, which is now in a position to actually make it impact in major establishments, academic and industrial, corporate world over. The reference, I remember when I was in college, and one of the subjects we used to always debate and say, and express concern about, was the brain drain. We spend money on them and they leave the country. Recently, I went back to the Delhi University to attend a function, and I had a young student speaking ahead of me, and he was very proudly using a different phrase. He said, well, we are now a brain bank. And one of the changes which has taken place through this period which you feel concerned about is, I remember a situation 10–15 years ago, one state, one regional engineering college. Ask any honorable member from Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, as to what the situation in their states now is. Karnataka, a small state like Haryana, today can proudly boast of 27 engineering colleges. That is where the situation today has grown. Quality needs to be improved. IT institutions. These are all areas in which we have been growing, and therefore to say these are all areas where we still to paint the economy and the country backward, I think is perhaps not a very fair assessment of the situation. One more issue, when my learned friend Mr. Basu spoke in terms of how do we make ourselves competitive in areas of concern, I think is an area which at some stage when you speak in terms of consensus, I can quite appreciate his and his party's difficulties in being a part of that consensus. How do we now create a labor law regime which is going to make our economy and our manufacturing industry equally competitive? You may speak in terms of a labor law regime which is status quoist, which is the present situation, where you may actually visualize yourself as a friend of the labor and champion the cause of the present labor law regime. But any regime which is contrary to the growth of generation of employment in the long run will never be labor friendly. And this is also one area when we speak in terms of a larger consensus, many including my friend Mr. Basu's party will also have to come around as far as this area is concerned. I see opposition by the Congress party as far as New Delhi is concerned, but I also see the Congress party in this area at least making some good headway as far as Maharashtra is concerned. Because it is the chief ministers who know where they need a lot more flexibility as far as those areas are concerned, because those are the areas which you need actually to grow in terms of. Sir, there was a comment which was made by the preceding speaker, which was certainly contrary to the policy of disinvestment of privatization which the government of India has followed.
आप एक मिनट के लिए बैठना। सदन की राय में सदन की राय के अनुसार मैं सुझाव रखता हूँ कि सदन की कार्रवाई आज जब तक सारी कार्रवाई समाप्त नहीं हो जाए तब तक
जहाँ तक हम लोगों का सवाल है, ये तय हुआ था कि आज हम सिर्फ ये डिस्कशन करेंगे। बाद में ये जो बिल हमने चर्चा किया है ये डाला गया है लिस्ट ऑफ बिजनेस में। लेकिन सर ये तो 4 घंटे का चर्चा है, अब कितना देर तक बैठना
कितनी
है?
देर बैठ सकते हैं आप?
नहीं, मेरे ख्याल में हम 6 बजे तक करके कल फिर दोबारा ये चर्चा
देखते हैं,
करें,
अभी 6 तो बजने दीजिए।
क्योंकि
समझ गया हम
साफ
आपकी
बात
बात।
हुई थी संसदीय
हाँ ठीक है, ठीक
मंत्री से।
We will conclude
करिए,
it
शुरू
today
करिए।
itself,
हैं?
because tomorrow there are some important legislation I have already mentioned.
हाँ करिए, शुरू करिए आप। सदन की अनुमति है कि 6 बजे तक सदन की
Yes,
कार्रवाई
yes.
चालू की जाए। हैं? ठीक, चलिए। चलो।
Sir, I'll complete in a few minutes, sir. Sir, the comment which was made against the privatization of the disinvestment policy of the government, I have, sir, now come across a new philosophy which has been propounded, where it has been said that, well, if you want to privatize, don't privatize profit-making units. Now, this seems to be a categorical statement, particularly which the Congress party has now been making. So I find this statement somewhat surprising for the reason, in the first instance, we must keep in mind that units which are profit-making, and particularly profit-making in a monopoly or a regulated regime, will not always continue to be profit-making. I remember our steel plants, for which our first Prime Minister had used the famous phrase, the temples of modern India, were a great endeavor. Today we find in a competitive regime and a globally competitive regime, some of those plants are producing amongst the costliest steel in the world. What do you do with units which were envisaged to be profit-making, which were great institutions at one time, have today ceased to be profit-making? Secondly, if we analyze the performance on this front of the Congress,
As you mentioned the policy statement of the Congress party on disinvestment debate, I made it quite clear that these two phrases you are omitting, in competitive environment, profit-making unit in competitive environment, and a recurring profit-making unit, not once in a blue meat, those profit-making units should not be sold.
sir, if I'm very grateful to the Honorable Member Shri Mukherjee.
कल आपके लिए कोई पूछेगा कि आप दीपक
A lot of consensus was there. You let him ask his own allies instead of asking Congress and left. Let him ask this question to the Shiv Sena, to Samta, to other allies. What is their views on this, and then come to us.
Sir.
And ask Mr. Ram Nayak also.
Sir,
Ask Mr. Ram Nayak also. Every party has said profit-making undertaking should not be disinvested.
Sir, as far as Shiv Sena is concerned, we are in NDA and whatever the decisions has been taken in NDA, we are abide with it.
No, thank you. तो करिए, खत्म करिए आप।
sir, yes, Shri Mukherjee is absolutely right. Shri Mukherjee is absolutely right when he says, I am reaffirming and repeating what Mr. Arun Shourie has repeatedly said, because despite the fact that Mr. Arun Shourie has very convincingly reiterated it, Mr. Basu chooses to repeat that, and therefore it is necessary for me to rebut something that he has stated. If we look at the period 1991 to 2000, 2000 is the period when there was a significant shift from sporadic market sales to strategic sales. If we look at the first period where 39 PSUs were divested and divested in small minority holdings, that is when for the first 5 years Congress party was in power. For the next 1.5-2 years, it was the United Front government was in power. Do we recollect which were the PSUs which were divested? It's a different matter that we have an ideological difference with the Congress party on the methodology of that divestment. But that difference apart, The difference being that we changed over to a strategic sales system, which we believe brought better values, better PE ratios as far as the exchequer was concerned.
BSNL also.
Yes, VSNL also. VSNL also. Yes, Centaur Hotel also and VSNL also. Since you mentioned VSNL, since you mentioned VSNL, since you mentioned this, sir, the PSUs which were divested when Congress was in power, if you recollect them, you had shares of Indian Oil, you had shares of HPCL, you had shares of BPCL, you had shares of VSNL, and curiously enough, when the United Front government was in power, which your party was supporting, which his party was supporting, his favorite share of VSNL was divested during the period when United Front was in power, when the CPIM was supporting. Therefore, when you say VSNL, you must recollect that you are supporting a government.
We are still supporting. If you divest to strengthen that company, we are still supporting. But you are privatizing without any rhyme or reason with an undervalued price.
चलने दीजिए ये तो
Sir,
थोड़ा
sir,
ठीक है
since a statement has been repeatedly made,
थोड़ा बहुत चलता रहना चाहिए.
sir, I may just mention, since there is a concern with regard to values, I'll just give you the values of the 5 most blue chip PSUs divested during 91 to 98. Indian Oil Corporation, the PE ratio which it got was 4.9. BPCL got 5.7. HPCL got 5.9. And VSNL, which you wanted to know, got 6. As against this, if you see the PE ratios through the strategic sale which Mr. Arun Shourie has done, Balco got 19, CMC got 12, HDL got 37, IBP got 63, IBP,
limit to everything.
sir,
ये गलत बात है सर.
if an undervaluation took place, the undervaluation was,
He cannot, he doesn't understand the concept.
अरे आप भेज देंगे ना नहीं, ये तो जरूरी है क्या वो करें आप करें. नहीं वो सब सुनने दे रहे हैं, सब सुनने दे रहे हैं, आप चिंता ही मत करिए, सब सुन रहे हैं और सुनने भी दे रहे हैं.
Mr. Chairman, I think this debate should be conducted in a manner in which I think both sides, despite their differences, I think do recognize that there is some basic truth. And the Honourable Minister, for example, is quoting figures in a manner which is completely uncomparable. What he has done or what this government has done is sold the management. In our case, it was an act of divestment, but we did not change the public sector character. So you are comparing the unlikes and then you draw the...
to the Honorable Leader of Opposition for mentioning this. I am very grateful to the Leader of Opposition for mentioning this. The debate was being conducted by us precisely in the spirit in which he mentions. It is precisely this point that we made, that we disagree with the methodology in which they carried on the process of disinvestment. It was a process which got lesser values. It's a process which didn't bring in aggressive investors. It was a process which did not bring in more investment into these units. It is
Talk about the document we are discussing.
it is the process which neither brought investment nor new technologies, continued with the same public sector managements, and therefore did no good as far as the management of the PSUs was concerned. It is this precise point, sir, that I was making. Sir, we followed a route which is in terms of economic management of these PSUs a more correct route. It's brought better dividends as far as the PSUs are concerned. It's brought greater investments to them. And as far as the labor interests are concerned, it is those interests which have remained protected, not only protected, in fact, they have been more than protected, because in almost each of the units which have been divested, there has been, in a large number of them, there has been a significant increase as far as the labor salaries are concerned. Sir, I must say once again that the finance minister has added a new chapter of transparency as far as the management of the Indian economy is concerned. He's brought a midterm review of the Indian economy. It's an occasion, as the leader of opposition rightly says, we must debate upon this document. But when we debate upon this document, if issues of policy correctives are raised, I think it is time that those issues of policy corrected are debated. And as Mr. Basu had mentioned, can we then have a consensus on some of these issues? He used the word consensus, but he wanted a reversal of everything that happened from 1991. I'm afraid that is something which will never be acceptable to my party. Thank you.
Shri P.C.